And we are back. Welcome to Shark Coast Tactical Podcast, episode 39. Right?
Yep.
39. Right, Eric? 39? I'm here today with my homies. I have a special guest, of course, the legend Todd Hughes. Omar.
Good afternoon.
The glue, Luke Andrews.
What's up?
And the amazing Dean Carroll.
Always.
Todd, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, it's here. Handshake. It's interesting. We were trying to get Todd on before, but then it just kind of coincided with Memorial Day, which is neat. And Memorial Day was yesterday, 2 days ago, and so now it's kind of neat to have you on.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a big time. So I was busy coming up to Memorial Day, you know.
Absolutely. So Todd is Todd's been a friend of Shark Coast since like the beginning, like since we first got our shop. He used to kind of bebop in sometimes and hang out when his kids were like real small, and he was smaller back then.
I was bigger back then.
You were bigger back then.
I was like 360.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I got fat.
Yeah, and then we became friends when like your house burned down.
Yeah.
And then we got real, and then you worked for us for a couple of years doing the gun shows. But like the big thing that the reason why I wanted you to come on is you are like your background with the veteran community here in Sarasota, Florida, and talk about some of the things you went through in the global war on terrorism. So you served over there, right?
Yes, sir. I served in Iraq from March 04 to March 05.
And you are the recipient of a Purple Heart?
No, I didn't get a Purple Heart. I do have a brain injury. Never did any of the paperwork to get any of that though. So, but I am 100% disabled, service connected through the VA for.
How did that happen? The brain injury?
We were on a escort mission and coming back after everything was done, the easy part, downhill ride. The helicopter that was with us said they saw something in front of us. I was the CO's driver, so I got out, walked up to check it out, and there was an IED. And when I turned around, the guy detonated it and blew up next to me and kind of knocked out, but still standing up. And I pretty good concussion. So that's how I got my brain injury.
Oh, wow. And did anybody else get injured in that?
There were a couple other people that got brain injuries as well that were further away. There was a gunfight that ensued that I don't remember. I just stood in the middle of it. So the guy that detonated it decided to shoot afterwards. So he got injured, I guess. But, besides that, yeah, just a few of us got some concussions and that was it.
Well, that's good that you didn't, get worse. And you were driving the CO at the time.
Yes, sir.
Now, what exactly, so you've been involved with veteran affairs locally for at least a decade.
Yeah, since 2012.
Okay, so you got out, you went back to school.
Yeah.
And you have your master's, don't you?
No, I started my master's. I stopped it when our house burned down, and I just never.
You never went back, but you've been working in different industries. Like I know you worked for Goodwill, and now you work for Lutz Buddy Up.
Right.
And you've been like, and you do a lot of, I guess, what's the word, like philanthropic?
Philanthropic.
Philanthropic, yeah.
I don't have money.
Look at you, you fucking threw that word out. Thank you.
I don't have money to give away, but I look for philanthropic people to give us money, right?
No, but you've been helping veterans for at least a decade. Like you're the guy to call.
Right.
Like if something is going down with somebody in the veteran community, like you are the guy to call, and you've dealt with it before, and you've dealt with trauma, and like if I ever have a veteran working for me who's going through a hard time, I call you. Yeah. And you help. You help with housing, you help with jobs, you help with how they like different navigating the VA, navigating the government, navigating disability. Like you're the guy, the guy and then you've won awards and shit for it. Didn't you get like Dude of the Year or some shit?
Yeah, I was Veteran of the Year, I think in 2020 when all the COVID crap was going on. And so that was pretty awesome though. Definitely wasn't expecting that. And a bunch
Wait, so you got Veteran of the Year in 2020?
Yes, sir.
I remember we went to a lunch or some shit.
Yeah, that was a few years before when I was actually still working for University of South Florida. I ran their veteran program.
So yeah, all right. So you were University of South Florida, yep. And then you were there, and then you went to Goodwill, and then now you're someplace else.
Right. So
and the whole time you've been doing help.
Right. Yeah, because when I got out, I was kind of lost, so I didn't know what to do. And so getting involved with all this and helping other veterans, helping myself helped me to be able to help other veterans.
Talk about that. You mean you're getting lost? You're lost.
Yeah, so I got out. I moved here in 2005 when I got out. I didn't know what to do. I just got a job, and supposedly through veteran services, it used to be called Jobs Etc. It's Career Source now. They had a veteran service guy that's like, yeah, here, apply for these jobs, but they didn't really help, right? So I was like, well, that's not good. So I worked this job for a while, ended up going back to school using the GI Bill. Even going to school, the USF here in Sarasota didn't have a veteran office. They had a work study there that was like, here, fill out this paperwork to get the GI Bill. And I was like, what do I do though? So going to school, I was like, well, this isn't enough. So I asked them, I was like, hey, all these other universities have veteran centers. Why can't we have one? Like, well, we don't have the funds for it. Well, what if I get the money? Like, yeah, if you get the money, we can build one. And so like 3 months later, I came back. I was like, I got the money. And they were like, oh, crap. Okay. so we built a veteran center.
At USF Sarasota.
Right. USF Sarasota.
So the Veteran Center of USF Sarasota, you did it.
Right. Well, with help from the community. So we had.
But so you started it though, like they were just hanging out in like a fucking work, like
in a cubicle in the back.
In a cubicle, and you went and got funding.
Services, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I went and got funding. We built a veteran center. Was able to get contracted with the VA to have VA work studies, and we had like 20 veteran students working for me while I was there. And then we just got plugged into the community and started to get to know every resource, because veterans that were coming out of the military, going to school, they needed help with all kinds of things, right? So I was like, well, what do we need to know for this? What do we need to know for that? And so I looked at the veterans that I had working with me and tried to see where their strengths were and got them connected with different places in the community. Got some of them hooked up. One of our guys, Sammy, he works for Congressman Stubbe now and works up in DC. And that all started from that, you know. So
could you ask him about the big, beautiful bill that we need passed?
I did.
If you did, what's the word on that?
I shouldn't talk about it.
Okay. All right.
But he was saying it doesn't look hopeful to pass Senate. But
great.
Yeah, we'll see. But you never know, right?
But the whole bill doesn't look hopeful to pass the Senate, or the HPA? The
HPA part, the hearing part. They don't want suppressors. They're going to lose out on tax money. They got to have tax money so that they can fatten their pockets more, right? So.
Okay, so who told you that?
Sammy.
Sammy told you that.
Don't kill me, Sammy. I'm sorry.
Were you not supposed to talk about it?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. So,
the local celebrity politician is a gentleman named Greg Stubbe.
Yeah, he's
and he's the son of Sheriff Stubbe, right?
Yep.
Son of Sheriff Stubbe, and he is, by all accounts, a really cool guy, and he's in Congress or the Senate?
He's in Congress.
He's in Congress, yeah, because Rick Scott and the other chick, Moody,
yeah,
those are our senators,
right?
And so he's the Congress guy for one of them for our district, and your buddy Sammy works for him,
right,
up in DC, right. And the inside scoop is the HPA is bad.
Yeah. He said it doesn't look hopeful that it'll pass, unfortunately.
So they're going to write it out?
I don't know. We didn't get into details. I hadn't seen him in a long time. He lives in DC now. So
yeah, I called their office.
Yeah.
And left a message, yeah.
Yeah. I got people there. I can get you in contact.
I called everybody.
Uh-oh.
I wasn't bad or anything. No, I called everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's it's the only thing you can do is fucking, like, I called Moody, I called Greg Stubbe, I called everybody who I could find their number.
I'll have Sammy come in and talk to you. I told him, Omar, I was like, he's the only other Turkish guy that I know. So I got.
Oh, Sammy's Turkish?
Yeah.
Oh, we got the inside.
I know, right?
Yeah, with Omar.
So we'll get the hookup with some AKs going on, right?
Is Sammy a citizen?
He is. He was firstborn here, firstborn generation.
Omar just became a citizen.
I know. I'm so proud of you, man. That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
We were talking about that before, and it's like most Americans wouldn't be able to pass that test. It's sad.
You think?
I think. Yeah. You've talked to the general population.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a great.
You see the videos when they ask the people like questions on the street and they can't answer.
Yeah.
Who won the Civil War? The British.
Who wrote the Federalist
East.
Papers?
Madison?
That's one.
Yeah.
I thought it was Harris. She did so much for it.
God, that sucks.
Yeah. I hope it passes. I hope he's wrong, but he's usually on top of stuff.
What, Sammy or Greg Stubbe?
Both, but yeah, Sammy's one of the staffers up there that he knows his stuff. He's good.
We even reached out to somebody who reached out to Greg Stubbe, and they didn't tell us bad news.
Yeah, well, I think everybody was pretty confident it was going to pass Congress, right? And then that one dude had to fall asleep and miss. It would have passed by a couple votes, but
yeah, the guy from New York.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah, he had to fall asleep.
Yeah, right.
What do you think about the HPA, Omar?
I was very hopeful. I feel like we're probably not going to get a chance like this ever again. I feel like this is like the perfect, all the stars lined up where Trump says, whatever's in this bill, I'm going to sign it. And we were able to get it through the House and then fucking Senate. God. If it wasn't for Luigi Mangione, nobody would give a shit. He had to do what he did. It had to be a high-class thing, and now people are scared of surprise. Because before this, like, there'd never been a fucking crime committed with a silencer in the U.S. I don't know if that's 100% true, but nothing like big. Nothing where the silencer actually made a difference. Not saying the Luigi thing had made a difference either, but, like, it was just so perfectly timed where if it wasn't for that one thing becoming so mainstream and blowing up, 100% think it would have passed, and I don't think we'll get an opportunity like this probably ever again. Definitely not in my lifetime. You never get to get rights back once they're given away, because in my mind, most politicians don't fight to get rights back. I mean, we hold the line until we lose something, and then we just give up on it. And it's like this whole... The entire NFA just pisses me off, just greatly. And I was finally... When I first heard about it, both HPA and the Short Act... Fucking beautiful name, too. Stop harassing owners of rifles today. Boom, perfect. That's a fucking layup name. And looks, if neither of them go through, I'm going to be very upset because I don't think we'll ever get an opportunity like this again.
What about you, Dean?
I mean, I wanted it. I didn't think it was going to pass because I did not think they were giving up that tax money. So I was just wishing and praying, and I just don't think it's going to go through as much as I want it to. As much as I want it to.
Their money would still be there, but through other means. Like if the law was, in theory, if it gets repealed or whatever the fuck, like people would buy more, and their tax money would be there. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't get the $200 tax stamp, but there'd be oodles and oodles of more people buying suppressors, and you get the sales tax from that, and then you get the income tax from the person who's selling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I have to pay, like, you know, I would get extra sales, or everybody would get extra sales, and then allegedly would make money, and I'd have to pay the government more money. You know what I mean? And then everybody who makes suppressors they've got their fucking hands in it everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you have your excise tax, you have fucking the federal tax on the workers. Like the market would be so stimulated by the act that they would get their money through other means. They just wouldn't have their money immediately through the tax.
Oh yeah, through the tax. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because let's say if I make 30% more money in 2026 because of the HPA, that means I have to pay 30% more taxes. Right? And then everybody else who sells suppressors would have to pay 30% more taxes. That's one way. Then if you take the taxes that they take out of your paycheck, or the extra workers that they need to create, or the extra jobs that get created, they get taxes from that. Like their fucking hand is in everything. So,
yeah.
And they would lose money initially, oh God, but you would see that money more. Like the economy would be stimulated like a motherfucker, and the government would get their hands in it one way or another, and they would still make a lot of money.
That is true. So what do you think would hold it back, if not the money? I thought it was just a money thing.
I mean, you've got all the opposition from the Democrats because they'll all vote against it. You have the allegedly the Rhine. I mean, it's something that I'm not educated enough to really, but in theory, I would think like you have the rhinos who are kind of on the precipice of either being Democrat. Like they just, you know, they don't want fucking people to have suppressors.
Is there a gun company I heard? Can't remember the company that is kind of fighting against it.
Oh yeah,
Silencer Central.
We had that. That was one of the things we wanted to talk about.
Oh. I'm getting out of line.
No, that's all right. It's a free form podcast. Whatever we want to talk about, we can talk, because we have the wonderful editor Eric. You can just edit whatever. Omar, what's the inside skinny on the Silencer Central thing?
Silencer Central is one of the biggest suppressor distributors in the country, and they wrote a check for lobbying. But it was a very vague, like the only thing we know about the check is just what they wrote on it, which was
how much was the money?
I don't know the exact amount.
I heard 50,000.
That's probably right. Yeah, I didn't look at the value, but basically they wrote on the check that it was for lobbying on the Hearing Protection Act. And last I heard, people thought that they were lobbying against the Hearing Protection Act because they wanted to keep their business, because they've got all this infrastructure set up on you being able to purchase a silencer. They do all the NFA stuff and they're able to ship it to your door. They spent millions and millions of dollars on getting that infrastructure set up. The thought in the community was that they're lobbying against the Hearing Protection Act so that they can keep their business, kind of thing. So for a little bit, there was a huge boycott against Silencer Central, and everybody was like, what the fuck? You guys are traitors, blah, 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 blah. Then they released a statement where they were like, guys, we're not lobbying against the HPA, but they also worded that, like, the statement they made was worded like it was written by a lawyer, where they were using very deliberate words to make it be like, we're not lobbying against, I don't remember the exact words, but people were still saying, like, even with this statement, they could be lobbying against it because they said it in a very lawyery way. I don't know what the final scoop on it is, but last time I checked, that's what it was, is people thought that Silencer Central was lobbying against the Hearing Protection Act so that their business could remain more relevant.
What I heard is they're trying to divert the money from tax stamps to not go to the ATF, to go to like wildlife and like conservation stuff. So it would, you know, if the ATF doesn't get the money, they wouldn't really care about the tax stamp anymore. But I mean, that's just what I've heard. I don't know how true that is.
I still don't think there's a full, like, concrete resolution. I just know they wrote that check. People thought that they were traitors, really started boycotting them, and they came out and they were like, dude, that is not what we're doing. And that kind of eased off, but I've still seen a couple of critics online being like, they could still be doing it, but probably what Luke said is the truth. It all stemmed from them just cutting a check and saying we're lobbying about the Hearing Protection Act, and everybody assumed it was negative.
I think the verbiage was, I can't remember the verbiage. We could pull it up. We need a Jamie. You know what I mean?
I could be the Jamie if you give me a laptop.
All right, we'll get you a laptop. I mean, there is no such thing as a coincidence, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So I mean, we have no way of knowing if they did it or they didn't do it. But if they didn't do it, they would say succinctly, "Yeah, we didn't do it." You know what I mean? But if they didn't really do it, they would say, "Look, we didn't fucking do this." That's it. So, but if they come out with a statement that is real lawyery, then that just looks guilty. And then allegedly a lobbying check goes to a lobbyist for a company that will lose millions if suppressors become legal.
Do they have a number online? Let's call them now and ask. We're doing a podcast. It's time for you to come clean.
Yeah, I heard Kandrew was lobbying against it too, because he loves taking people's fingerprints. So,
I told him straight up, I'm like, we don't need you anymore.
Oh, no.
We can send you.
Passes, how long will you think until you sell out? First day?
No, like, I mean, I personally didn't believe in it because I've been through this before. Like when Trump first took office, that July, there was such a push for the HPA at SHOT Show, and everybody got so hunky-dory over it, and it fucked up suppressor sales for a year. And then people weren't buying, and it was difficult. And that's what brought on the first buy one, get one free suppressor deal from Silencer Co. Because the suppressor market was in the fucking tank. And Silencer Co. came out with that buy one, get one free thing, and boom, it was fucking madness. And that was the first time they did it. And that was, once they did that, then suppressors got kind of fixed. You know what I mean? But, I mean, things are just too good to be true. It's like I woke up and I'm skinny. You know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking way ever it's going to happen. Like, I would love for it to happen. Like, I would love for it to happen, like, simply, like, for, like, that's what Trump is all about or allegedly that's what Trump is all about, like, economic stimulus with business. Like, if you did the impact on American manufacturing and American small business, if they repealed the NFA or enacted the Short Act, enacted the HPA, it would be, amazing. Like there so much, and there'd be innovation in suppressors, innovation in short barrel rifles. There'd be more jobs. There'd be more commerce. Not to mention everybody would fucking help their hearing.
Right.
Jesus, I went to a match the other night that I DQ'd on at the Take Aim place, and I was the only person with a suppressor. And holy shit, is that shit loud?
Loud as hell in there.
Loud as fuck. You know what I mean? Like it, and most everybody didn't have muffs. Like they had just the little cheap things in your ear. Like you lose your fucking hearing, man.
Yeah.
What do you think, Omar? It's going to go through or no? Never?
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a little crushing, but
He's like, if the other Turkish guy said it, then.
yeah. It just, if it was a genuine thing, like if it was something that would actually have impact on public safety, it's a whole different conversation. But like, I'm still against it. But it's a whole. The silencers were added onto the NFA for fucking like what? Hunting out of season concerns?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like
Hunting out of season concerns, something like that.
and then short-barreled rifles were just a random, like, quick little history lesson here. Originally, the NFA said 18.5-inch for rifles and shotguns. You can't have a shotgun or a rifle under 18.5-inch barrels. And then World War II ended, and they're like, oh, look at all this. We've got all the surplus M1 carbines. Let's sell these to the public. So they sold a bunch of people, like 100,000 M1 carbines to the civilians. And then somebody showed them and like, do those have 16-inch barrels? That's against the National Firearms Act. And they're like, oh shit, let's just scribble that out real quick. 16-inch on this. Like, it's so arbitrary. There's no discernible, like, there's no universe where short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, AOWs, and silencers being illegal in the freest country in the world makes any fucking nick of sense. And it's only there because of failed politics, basically. It was a room full of scared people who are voted in by scared people that don't know what they're talking about, that are just writing shit on pieces of paper, being like, yeah, let's ban fucking anything under 18.5. Oh, wait, no, 16 inches. Like, why that number? It's the same thing with the magazine capacity. Like, why 10 rounds? Why not 5? Why not 4? Why not 3? Why not 2? None of the gun laws we have make any sense. And I was so hoping that we'd finally get something back, and no.
And on top of that, originally they wanted to do pistols as NFA items as well.
Yep.
But there's too much backlash, so they got rid of that. And the $200 tax stamp has always been $200. So if you think about inflation, $200 in the 1930s was like...
It made it unattainable.
Yeah. It was only for like the richest people. I mean, luckily it's changed.
Yeah.
But,
Or it hasn't changed.
well, yeah, it hasn't changed,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Thankfully, it hasn't changed. I just hate that none of it makes any sense, and you can't just sit and... There's no place for you to just make an argument about it. Like, if you explain the idea that, hey, look, when short-barreled rifles were being talked about making illegal, they were also going to ban pistols. They took pistols out. They left these in there. There's no reason for them to still be in there if pistols got taken out. Like, anybody that you explain this stuff to, if they're a competent human being, would understand. But that's not politics. It's not about you being able to explain something or have justification for it. There's no reviewing a law to see if it still makes sense in 2025. It's just, they happened to vote on it back in 1934, and now I got to fucking pin and weld my barrel at 13.7. Stupid.
Gay.
Which is why I love loopholes like FRTs, braces. Love that shit. I live for it.
How could they, change their stance on FRTs and then keep suppressors illegal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like, let's give the fucking masses FRTs, but you have to do a tax stamp for a fucking suppressor.
Because the people in that Congress room back in 34 and 68 or whatever didn't know what they were talking about. So the definition they laid out for a machine gun wasn't a very good definition. So you can work around it and make FRTs. The reason that's the case is because the National Firearms Act explicitly bans silencers, but it does not explicitly ban a trigger that resets in such a way that you're technically pulling it again and it's not a machine gun. Like, that's the only reason, is because it is not explicitly in the NFA saying that, or it's saying they're banning machine guns, but the definition for machine guns is wrong. not wrong, but incomplete. Thankfully, it's incomplete. But that's the only thing we can do is like a group of people that don't know what they're talking about got together and wrote something. And now it's up to us to read through the lines and figure out what they messed up so we can get at least something back.
It's sad.
It is.
The shitty thing is like, I mean, I don't know if anyone knows, like the economy's not doing that fucking good. And it's never something that I want to admit, but it's not doing that good. And the firearms industry is not doing that well. And you know, fucking commerce helps everything. You know, why not just let the fucking like unleash in Pandora's box and help out the firearms industry? It would help out. I mean, it's commerce is good. Sales are good. You know what I mean? Like it's capitalism. It's how our countries run. You know, we're supposed to, you know, you're not supposed to restrict capitalism, restrict markets, let them flow. You know, laissez-faire kind of thing. But it bums me out. Thanks for ruining our night, Todd. I'll just fucking.
I just had to bring some fun to it. You know?
I'll just pray every morning. You know, and hopefully it'll work.
I should hold mass in here. And like, who's the saint of firearms? I don't know.
Probably St. Michael.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Forgotten Weapons, Ian McCall.
Yeah. I think. John Wick.
Sure.
We'll invoke John Wick.
Now, what's this new thing you're into or you're a part of? Lutz Buddy Up.
Lutz Buddy Up. So
Lutz
it's spelled
Buddy
like
Up.
Lutz, right?
So it has nothing to do with Lutz?
No, it doesn't.
Fuck, man.
Lance Corporal Lutz. He was,
okay.
He was a
his
Marine.
name. So explain this to us.
So he served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and unfortunately ended his own life with drugs that the VA overprescribed. So his mom didn't want to see any other moms go through that, right? So she started this nonprofit, Lutz Live to Tell, and finding ways to connect veterans to alternative treatments and get them together. So then the Lutz Buddy Up that you're talking about, that's the monthly social group. So we have dinners in different areas and we just get together, make fun of each other. I know you know the old joke. I always bring crayons for the Marines for dinner, right? This last Wednesday, I got a cake for dessert and I put the Army is the best, you know, and on it. So
where did the whole eat crayon thing come from?
I
Do
don't
you think
even
the Marines
remember.
really ate crayons?
No, but now some of them do out of jokes, you know. And like at my office at Goodwill, I always kept bubble gum in the shape of crayons on my desk. And when somebody told me they're Marine, I'm like, "Oh, here you go," and I'd give them one out of the box, right? You know, just
So the organization is called Live to Tell. Then Let's Live to Tell.
Right, Let's Live to Tell.
And it's a nonprofit that
Fighting to end suicide, right? And it started for just veterans, but now it's expanded to veterans, first responders, law enforcement. So we get everybody together, just have a good time, free meal. A lot of veterans isolate because they don't know what to do or they're scared to go out, but they're having these mental health issues, right? And going to the VA sucks. Talking to somebody about your problems sucks. So we don't sit around and talk about our problems. We sit around and just have a good time and connect. And I've seen so many veterans here locally. I've been doing Lutz Buddy Up as a facilitator for 7 years now on the side of my full-time job at Goodwill when I was there. And I've seen veterans that their neighbors hated them. They had no friends. They were sad. They were on the verge of taking their life and get involved with us and make friends because they're finding other people that have gone through the same things and now they're thriving. One of my friends, I know he doesn't mind me telling his story. He was an Army Ranger, several deployments, made it back safe every time. Unfortunately, on a training exercise, the cord for his chute got stuck and he hit the side of the plane when they jumped out and it knocked him out and he got a really bad brain injury and he fell to the ground. The parachute opened, but he fell to the ground unconscious and hurt him even more. So he was one of those that his neighbor's a veteran that I work with and he brought him to one of the dinners like, hey man, you just need to come with me. He didn't want to. And he went there and he was real quiet, real shy, got him to talking to some different people. And now since he's been doing this for the past 3 or 4 years, he's thriving. He's started his own car detailing business. He's got people coming over to his house all the time. He built a pool and other veterans that he's met through Let's Buddy Up come over and just hang out and barbecue and do all kinds of stuff. and he likes to cook. So I asked him to start cooking for our dinners, and he's like so like nervous about it. He's like, is everybody gonna like my food? And everybody loves it every time. But I bought him this apron that has our Spartan logo on it, and I took it by his house, and it has his name on it, and he broke down, and he's like, this has changed my life. Like he was telling me that he doesn't even know how to explain how it's changed his life, and it's just hanging out, right?
Explain more, like the whole problem of like why does an organization like Live to Tell need to be in existence? Like what is the deal? Like veterans go serve, they come back, and then just shit goes south. Why?
For a lot of us, it's just when you go through basic training, you have your brain rewired to become a soldier, a Marine, whatever it is, right? And you're not retrained to become a civilian. So you're never a civilian again. You're going to be something different. So it's hard for a lot to reconnect. Some people have an easier time. For me, I had an easier time, but I think it was because I had the support of my wife, who was also a veteran. So I think it made it easier for me. My father's a veteran. My whole family almost served. So I think I saw easier route, but the ones that I see that are having trouble reconnecting, they're not able to switch back on like, hey, I need to do this stuff, or I can't say are you a fucking genius instead of maybe you should rethink that, right? So getting the guys together to realize that they're not alone. There's other people out there still that they can connect with. There's tons of veterans. I think in Sarasota County, there's like 36,000. Manatee County, there's like 34,000 veterans, right? So there's a lot in our area. It's like 1.5 million in Florida alone. So just getting everybody together to do stuff. And veterans are like civilians. There's all kinds of people. There's dirtbags that no matter what you do, they're just going to be crappy people, unfortunately. But I think the majority of veterans, though, they have that extra fortitude, the discipline inside that they're looking for from other veterans. So you go hang out with somebody on the street that they've never served in combat, or they've never had that, even the ones that didn't serve in combat put on a heavy rucksack and their combat boots and go march for 3 days straight, Nobody else knows that mental anguish and torture, and what you got to go through and what that turns you into. Except for another veteran. So getting those guys together, it's really hard to explain. But if you come, you got to come to one of the dinners. One of these.
Oh, I'm allowed to?
Yeah, you can come because you're a community supporter. You support veterans so much, man. Like you're always donating guns to different organizations to raffle off, and you do a lot, man. And I mean, you helped me when my house burned down. Like you were the first one there for me. I didn't even come in to tell you that. It was Bobby Ransom and
Jeff Norris.
Jeff Norris came in, and I just happened to be next door because my daughter's rabbit was getting checked out that had smoke inhalation. And you came out. You're like, why the fuck didn't you tell me your house burned down? I was like, and you brought me all these shirts because I had nothing.
You had no clothes.
I had the shirt I was wearing, So for like a month I had
Shark Coast
like,
stuff. Yeah.
I had like 20 Shark Coast shirts, and it was the old school ones with the jaw on the back. It was awesome, man. I still have a lot of them.
His house burned down. His house burned down, and you lost a dog or two dogs?
3 dogs.
Lost 3 dogs, lost all his shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So like he had God, your kids were little back then too.
They were.
That's like I was thinking about that today. Like you're one of the customers that who I've seen, customers, friends, but like you see people who come into Shark Coast, and like you've seen, like by now we've been around long enough to where I've seen their kids grow up.
Yeah.
Like I even like right now there's a kid who works for us, and like he started coming here as a kid. And now he lost his other job and then came and worked here, and like it's just like now your kids are playing football in high school, and another one's graduated, another one's married. Yeah, like your daughter's married.
I'm old, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not as old as Will. What's going on?
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm not getting older.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, you were there for me so much, man, and then hiring me on to work weekends and stuff. I learned so much about guns. I thought I knew a lot about guns, and then doing the gun shows is like, holy
do you remember
crap.
when the Muslim girl like came by and you were wearing like a Crusader shirt or something on it, and she started fucking talking smack to you?
Was it
Do you remember that?
I think it was the one that I had that had the goat and it said Miss Taliban 20 something on it.
Nah, is that what you're wearing?
I think so, yeah.
She got mad?
She got mad and started talking smack, yeah.
Why do you get mad at that?
She was jealous. I don't know. Better than her. Durka.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lady in a, what's it called, Omar? The hijab?
Hijab?
Hijab. Yeah, there was a lady in hijab who was just like,
I just like,
and then Todd was getting kind of feisty.
I was like, it's true.
I see this a lot, especially in modern politics. It's happening again now for some reason, but it's like, it doesn't say Miss Muslim. It says Miss Taliban.
Yeah.
Why are you feeling offended on behalf of the fucking Taliban? If you were over there, they would have cut your fucking...
Yeah. For talking to a man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know that they don't let you leave the house without permission. You can't talk, right?
Can't go to school, can't talk, can't have a job.
Did you drive here?
Right?
Why are
Can't
you
drive. Wait, can women drive in Saudi Arabia yet?
I don't know about Saudi Arabia, but
I don't think women can
Not
drive
allowed.
in Saudi
I
Arabia.
don't think so.
probably
No.
not. But Sharia law prohibits it. You can't go outside without your husband. You can't go out and you can't talk to a man without being talked to. And
I could get behind that.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Because I saw something where it was like a headline that said that up until a couple of years ago, traffic in Saudi Arabia was the safest in the world because women weren't allowed to drive.
I don't know. You always see those videos of those guys driving the Jeep sideways, driving down the freeway.
Dude, in Kuwait, I'd see Mercedes and BMWs just rolled over on the side of the road and just left there. And it's
They're
like,
trying to put them on two wheels.
right?
Really? Okay.
They're pretty good at it. I'll
They
give it
are
to
pretty
them.
good.
Yeah.
Some of them make it all the way.
What are you talking about? Like they really drive on two wheels?
Yeah, they like to pop it up, like in the movies back in the day.
Like the Duke Boys?
Yeah,
You never seen the videos? They're
like sideways.
Oh, dude, you should check them out.
They're pretty good at
I'll
it.
send you some.
It's wild.
Send me some.
That's what happens when you.
Yeah, but
live in
don't
desert
send
for
me fucking
generations.
dick pics, dude. You do that shit. Like you'll Todd is like king of sending like fucking dick pics. Like it'll be like a link or some shit, and it's a big black cock.
He thinks it is. He's just jealous.
I
I was
would
going
like
to bring
be
you
bigger.
peanut butter to make up for it, but
I would like to be bigger. I would. I hear there's something I can do, but I'm not sure. How was
It's not worth it.
How was the
Stays
Biden
fully
administration for veterans? How were those 4 years? Did you notice a difference at all?
I personally didn't notice a difference. I know some people always complain, but I think because when it comes down to it, the president doesn't usually have a lot
Power over the VA.
right? So it's usually Senate and Congress, right? So that's been the same forever. Not much change. Just people whining more. But I mean, the VA's hit or miss regardless. Right now, a lot of people are scared because of the cuts Trump and Elon Musk are making and stuff. But again, I don't really see any difference. But the people that I know that are working there, they're just scared because they don't know if they're going to lose their job or not.
What about like what was it like for the veteran community when the whole Abbey Gate thing went down?
Abbey Gate.
Yeah, the suicide bomb in
Kabul,
Afghanistan, Kabul.
When did that happen?
When we pulled out.
Oh, yeah. That I forgot all about all that. Sorry.
That head
Brain
trauma.
injury, right? A lot of so I served in Iraq. So that was when we pulled out of Iraq and left everything there and ISIS took over. That killed a lot of us, right? And so the veterans that I knew that served in Afghanistan, it was kind of the same thing. It was like their version of that, right? But we were all pissed because they just left everything to the Taliban, and we spent how many billions of dollars fighting the Taliban forever, and we just left everything. And then, yeah, the suicide bomber killing everybody. I still can't wrap my head around why somebody would think that's honorable or like one of the worst memories I have is this guy that drove into one of the gates, the checkpoints that we had, and it was all civilians around there. And it was him. He had his wife in the passenger seat and two kids in the back seat. And so we didn't think anything of it. And he drove straight into it. Nobody stopped him until it was too late to realize what was going on and blew up all these civilians. Like he didn't even hurt any Americans. It was all local civilians. I mean, what kind of person would do that? I don't get it. So, and I think most Americans and service members think the same way. So it's like, what the heck? Not regardless, but even if you took the American soldiers and airmen that died during that out of the equation, like, why'd you do that? We were just trying to help get some refugees out of there, or American citizens out of there. Why did you come in there and suicide bomb? We're giving you everything, and then what are we still giving them? Like, I forget how many, $45 million a week or something like that.
Something ridiculous, and it's still going on.
Yeah. So, like, we shouldn't be funding the Taliban government. They want to run it, let them run it, But I don't know. I think we should stop policing the world. The Middle East is a different culture. We're never going to change them to be like us. I don't know why we're wasting time going over there. I know why. It's money, right? The military machine. All the people in Congress and Senate have their hands in the pockets some way or another, maybe not directly, but their family members, right? So the more guns and bullets and the more tanks we can build and everything. So if we give them away, who cares? We're going to build more, and then they're going to get more money, right? So I know that's what it comes back to.
I heard too, there's this guy, John McPhee. I heard two things the guy said this week. Number one, he said like George Bush gave the Taliban like 48 days or something to turn in Osama bin Laden. And on the 40th day, he launched his attack. And then the allegedly like Omar, the one-eyed dude from the Taliban, was going to give up Osama bin Laden. And George Bush heard it and fucking launched the attack anyway. Did you hear that?
I've heard about that, yeah.
And then
I believe it.
And then there's another, like, he was on the ground at Tora Bora, and he was going, and then they were told to stand down for a second. Like, they were almost there, they're almost breaching, and then they were told to stand down, and then he saw helicopters flying and then fly out, and then they were told to go ahead, and Osama bin Laden was gone. And then you think, and then people say, well, no, it's bullshit. Well, then how are you going to get a fucking dude on dialysis? Right.
He was a CIA asset anyways. I mean,
yeah, he's gonna traverse the fucking mountains of Afghanistan,
right?
On a donkey and with a dialysis machine,
right?
You know what I mean?
Very highly, yeah. Sure.
And then he was what miraculously found at a compound next to the officer training camp in Abbottabad. It's a shitty situation, but it's great that you found, that you can find comfort in your organization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it helps because we have people from all branches that have served in all the different stuff.
Do the veterans, are they getting, with more and more stuff getting revealed, like John McPhee was like, Megyn Kelly was asking him, are you pissed about it? And he's like, who gives a fuck? He's like, I like grenades.
Yeah.
I had a good time, and what am I going to do? Get mad about it? There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not going to stay mad. Like, how are like more and more shit's coming out? Like the president was basically an invalid being run by, maybe Elizabeth Warren, maybe his wife, maybe Hunter, and all these bad things happen to our veterans taking that with stride, or do you see some getting angry about it, or they're just like John McPhee's like, fuck it, man?
Yeah, I see a mixture, right? Like there's so many of us that are like, well, it happened, shitty memories, bad stuff happened, but we have some good memories, right? Like I like grenades, right? Like some of the best memories I have was from the middle of Iraq, and the in between times, right? But I see veterans that are, it seems like they just have to be mad no matter what, right? But you have civilians that are like that, right?
Oh yeah.
No matter what, there's got to be a problem. So, some of those you can't help them until they're ready to be helped. But I've seen some of them that finally, after I think just being around the rest of us that have a better attitude about life in general, they start to be better, right? We're rubbing off on them in a good way instead of them rubbing off on
osmosis,
them. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, just stop pushing them. Don't try to make them feel happy, right? But it's a mindset change, and you have to be ready to do it. So, but yeah, then you see the people that are uber political about everything, and it's weird. It seems like the younger generation of veterans are more conservative, I guess, and like some of the older generation are more like, a lot of the Vietnam vets I know are more liberal. Not all of them, but a lot. So they're just like, Trump's bad. It's like,
my dad turned liberal, but I think it was because of his wife.
Yeah, women ruin guys.
They ruin it.
I mean, look at Adam and Eve, right? It's been going on forever.
My dad had pictures of him and Reagan,
Oh yeah.
together, yeah, and then like all of a sudden he got a new girlfriend and then a new wife, and he's like, yeah,
Thinking with the wrong head.
I guess, I mean,
Yeah, but your dad was cool though. I think he maybe he was just a closet liberal, right? Like or closet conservative.
you know, one time he yelled at me. He was calling me a racist. He was drunk as fuck and calling me a racist in the middle of Ruth Chris's Steakhouse. He's like yelling at me saying, "You're a racist because you don't want to." Because he's like, "You're a racist because you don't want to watch The Slopes." I'm like, "What'd you just say?" The Slopes. I said, "Do you mean Chinese people?" He's like, "Yeah, you don't want to watch the Olympics because The Slopes." I'm like, "What, Dad? What are you talking about? I'm not racist."
So he's using racist terminology to call you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. And then his fucking teeth flew out and he starts choking.
man.
It was great.
The Colonel, huh?
The Colonel, yeah. I miss that guy.
Yeah, he was awesome. I loved having him around.
Yeah, you really helped a lot. Like, so when my dad is buried up at the National Cemetery in Sarasota, my dad was a colonel. And when he died, it's interesting. Like, I remember, like, you helped me a lot. Like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. And you're like, no, we can get this. And you got all those bikers to come, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you got all the bikers to come, and you got the people. You got all the extra military stuff, and you told me how to get him buried there too.
Yeah.
That was you.
Yeah, and then I brought you an extra flag, and
you brought me an extra flag.
Yeah, so
so it's on the wall over there.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I fucking forgot about all that.
Yeah,
like those. You know what happened too with the bikers? So Todd got this whole group of bikers to come at my dad's funeral, and they, rode up like bikers and shit. And my sister came down, and my sister's fucking crazy. Like, she's a lunatic. Like, she's homeless now on the streets of Philly somewhere. Like, she was a Tri Delta from FSU. Like, she was a hot chick at one time, and then she became a lawyer, and then somehow she went fucking crazy, and now she's homeless, like living on the streets of Philadelphia. But at the time, which was 5 or 6 years ago, when my dad died, like, she came down and she was fucking a lunatic, and she was going to start some shit at the funeral. And she walked up, like, she got out of her car, ran up, and like these dudes got in front of her and said, you're not pulling shit. We can see it. And she's like, that's my father. That's my family. And they're like, not while we're here. And they blocked her. And the whole funeral could have been like wrecked. But these bikers like stopped my lunatic sister.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you know about that?
No.
Oh yeah.
because I was standing in the back. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Like she was. It was, and it would have been really bad for my dad's wife. To disrupt the funeral.
Yeah. I tried really hard to get a helicopter for you. But
I was telling
it was during COVID, so
and you almost got it. Yeah.
I called a bunch of people, but
I told my daughter that.
yeah.
Yeah, because my daughter, like my aunt, not my aunt, but my stepmom took my daughter to see my dad's grave and to explain it to him and explain it to her, and she wanted my daughter to know how to get there, because it's kind of hard to figure out where everything is at the National Cemetery, and my daughter was asking me questions about it, and I said, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I almost got a helicopter. And it was you. You almost got the helicopter.
Almost.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I got bikers go out there. It was you who did it.
Nah. It's because you're a good guy, man. And the community knows you, so they wanted to be behind you when you lost your dad.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people have you done that for?
Not a lot.
I'm sure many.
It depends. I've helped a few people. I've helped a lot of veterans over the years. I know we've had several veterans that have been struggling that finally got off the streets and then ended up passing away, and we helped them get all the stuff set up for the funeral out there, and the family were just super appreciative because they got to see them get off the streets at least before they died.
How did the National Cemetery even get in Sarasota? Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's a beautiful thing to have in our community.
It is. I don't remember the National Cemetery origin.
You guys ever been there?
No. Where is it? You took me there.
It's out off Clark. It's beautiful out there. So they have so the Patterson Foundation is a great philanthropic organization that does a lot for veterans. And so I met them at USF, and they're the ones that they built that big I'm blanking on what it's called. It's basically like a big covering with benches and all that stuff, and it's
Big
beautiful.
fancy gazebo.
Yeah, it's huge. And so
Huge.
we have concerts out there. We've had funerals out there. We had a homeless veteran die that had no contacts. And so nobody was going to show up for his funeral. And so we blasted it out, and the place was packed. They had to move it from one of the small places like they did to your dad to have it in this big, huge arena area. And it was still packed. And it took me an hour to get out of the parking lot afterwards. It was crazy. Standing room only for a homeless veteran that had no family. But there's a little memorial way where you can walk, and they've got some history back there. You can do a tour. They have volunteers out there. Definitely something you should check out.
Yeah.
But the Patterson Foundation made that happen. It's never happened anywhere else. Public entity being able to build on to a national cemetery. So what they did was the VA... They got the VA to lease the land to them for, I think, $1 or something like that, right? And since they had the lease, they were able to build that, and then, now our lease is up and you own this now, kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
There's more to it than that, but that's kind of like a quick little story of it. So Sarasota National Cemetery is a one of a kind with that.
Yeah, it's on it's on Clark Road. You should check it out.
Far out east?
It's
Far
not that
out.
far.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
it's
5 miles.
Yeah.
It's about halfway to the state park. Maybe a little more than halfway.
So kind of near Satchel's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's on the south side of Clark.
Yeah.
It's very humbling. Like there's oodle. I mean, it's a real big, beautiful place, and it's a national cemetery.
Yeah.
Just like that you would see in DC, except it's here. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, and then Todd showed me how to get my dad interned out there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it happened. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
But he didn't bring the helicopter.
No,
Right, it was during COVID, so
and he almost got it.
yeah.
Like he almost got it. Like it was like we almost got a fucking helicopter flyover.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I
not.
mean?
But
Yeah, and he didn't even tell me like 2 weeks before he died. He's like, "Pancho," I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna fucking die, and you gotta take care of my wife." I'm like, "I ain't taking care of shit, homie, and you're not dying." He's like, "No, you gotta take care of her." I'm like, "I'm not doing that. You're not dying. Well, better not die because I ain't doing shit." And it was one last time I talked to him.
Yeah.
And he fucking died, and I had to take care of his wife. I just had to tell her like it's you just went through it.
Yeah.
Like there's shit you gotta do when people die. Like
A lot.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Like you gotta get the body, bury the person, bank accounts, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. And it's something though that you've got to go through. You got to go through it as a man or as a woman, and so you can do it for your family or your friends, and once you do it, then you know how to do it, and it's but
It gets smoother. Yeah.
it gets smoother. Yeah, I was. I can't. I apologize. Like I fucking completely blocked out that you helped me.
it's all good.
I was
didn't
wondering
look
too.
for
I was like,
recognition.
how the fuck did I get him out there? And I totally fucking blanked out. Like it's either I'm getting dementia or something in my old age, or I just fucking forget. Like I just block out, bad memories.
Yeah, it's a shitty part of life. You don't want to remember that.
No, I don't remember. I just don't remember the good things,
Yeah.
like getting DQ'd at the match. I went and did my first USPCA. How do you say it, Omar?
USPSA.
USPSA
United
match.
States Practical Shooting Association.
And I got DQ'd right after the second stage. It's okay though.
Yeah. Everyone pretty much will get DQ at some point.
That's not true.
You don't think so?
No.
It's what everyone told me when I finally got one, and it happened. I've seen it happen to like top rank shooters. Something. It's a mistake.
No bullshit. Because everybody, because every time I come in contact with like a competition shooter, I ask them, "Do people really get DQ'd?" And they're like, I haven't seen it.
No, that's not
Want to
true.
raise.
Is that what it is?
That's not true.
It's not
People
true.
get DQ'd.
He also did take a PCC, so maybe it was God's judgment to like kind of even things out.
Oh fuck that.
There's a stigma around PCC shooting.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Why?
Cheaters. I love saying that to them because like even the 2-gun one we went to, it's like you saw the
Fucking motherfucking cheaters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Motherfucking cheaters.
Yeah, they got bigger plates to shoot at. What the fuck's that about?
What the fuck's that about?
Oh man.
Oh, it's so much fun though.
Oh yeah.
Like you should get one.
What, PCC?
Yeah, he should get a PCC. You guys should come.
I'll come with a pistol, like a man.
I've got a pistol. I can bring a pistol. I've got a staccato.
It's just jokes. I just love doing that because it's, you saw when we went out, the stage we went out, they're like, all right, so the 2-gun guys, you're going to engage this fucking coin 3 miles down there, and then you have to run over there, grab your pistol, run all the way back and hit the same target. And then the PCC guys, you guys shoot these 2 8x5 fucking steel plates and you're good. Like, what?
It wasn't exactly like that, but it was like that. Like me and Omar, we went and participated in a night vision match. Omar got 4th. I got, I think, 20th or 15th or something like that. And then Omar got 15th overall and I got 30th overall. Omar did really well.
How many people were there? 30?
30.
42 people total. And then there was, I think, 19 in our division.
Nice.
So I didn't finish last, but...
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you know what was really cool though? I went to the match and the last match I went to, I'm giving my information and the guy's like, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Mead. And he's like, what's your first name? Will. He's like, he looks me up and he's like, okay. He's like, do you have an ID? Because it has a Will Mead in here who's 53 years old. And I'm like, no, that's me. He's like, no, you're not 53. And he's looking at me. No, it's me. I'm 53 years old. I was like, oh. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, makes you feel good, huh?
Yeah, that was that. That was like
You dyed your beard right before you went, right?
I did. I dyed my beard right before. No, I didn't dye my beard right before he went. This was Monday. I dye it on Tuesday. Tuesday's my dye the beard day.
Nice. I just let mine grow out and I pluck them out because I still only have a few. But
you'll get there.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I just turned 43.
Oh man, yeah.
10 years behind you.
Same age.
Yeah, you'll get there. Oh,
Yeah.
are you 43 too?
Yeah. 43.
I knew
Yeah.
there's a reason I like Dean.
Everybody likes Dean,
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
It's easy.
except the mad shitter. He didn't like you.
No, he did not like me.
I missed that one.
How does your faith tie into helping veterans? Like you're a big faith guy.
Yeah, I am. I consider myself very strong Christian. I don't go to church very often though. I don't like the organizational part of it. Where
I don't like the singing.
Yeah, I don't like the politics in church. So, but I love the gospel, and Jesus died for us, right? And
Absolutely.
if he was willing to die for us, the least I can do is help my brothers and sisters in arms, right? Because we signed that blank check for up to and including our lives, right? So we were willing to die for our country, or at least we thought it was for our country back in the day, right? And most of us, as we've gotten older, we realize what's going on with all the government, and we're like, oh man, this sucks, but we still want to honor our brothers and sisters that did make that ultimate sacrifice and those that were willing to. So with that, for me, faith without works is dead, right? So I know that I can't earn my way into heaven, but I feel like with my love for God, that I just want to do the best I can do. And I mean, whatever it takes to make it happen. And I'm far from perfect. Sometimes I people slip through the cracks. While I was doing this program facilitating, ended up losing one of my best friends, about Jeremiah, and that killed me. That was bad. And I called you a few times and you talked to me, and you call and check on me. And we missed signs, but and that pushed me to want to work even harder to not miss signs with anybody else. Because if I can miss somebody that's become my best friend, and I know it's not my fault. He made his decisions, but if I feel like I let that happen, and got to do everything I can to keep others from doing it. So that's my heart's in it 100%.
You got to step over bodies in order to live.
You do. And you can't let those bodies hold you back because, unfortunately they're already gone. So learn from your mistakes, move forward, adjust fire as you're moving forward. Right. And take on.
Yeah, reload,
Reload,
and re-engage.
re-engage.
Reload, re-engage.
Never give up.
Never give up. What's the present stigma? Is there a present stigma on PTSD? Like where, like what's the state of PTSD, like help?
Yeah.
Or like what are people doing? Is the alternative medicines, is it growing? Is it being accepted?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of growth in it, right? Like there's still a negative stigma because
hold on, this might sound, but does it go away? Like with the older you get? Because like, I mean, from the global war on terror, and I'm sorry if I sound retarded, but
No.
I am kind of retarded.
Sometimes.
But like, does like everybody from the global war on terrorism is getting old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's almost like we're turning into our fathers.
It was 20-something years ago, right?
20-something years ago.
It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Like it's like 1990 to the Vietnam vets.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I was going to say when you said that. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it ever goes away. You find different ways to deal with it, you know? Mine's never gone away, but I don't have the night terrors that I used to have. I'm more comfortable when it happens. I still like, I'll have bad dreams still. And I wake up the next day and I'm just like in the worst mood, or for no reason at all, I'll just have the worst depression. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I have no reason to have depression like this and want to not be alive. Like it's bad, but, and I can, like, I know I've got an awesome family, you know, I have a purpose. I've got amazing friends. If I need somebody, I can call. Like I have 100 people on my phone I could call and talk to and be like, dude, I need somebody, and they'll be there for me, you know? So I have no reason.
Yeah, not to mention wife and kids.
Yeah. And my wife has been a rock for me, and we just celebrated 22 years, and
oh my God,
I know she's put up with me for that long, and I was bad, you know. Not only did I come back mentally messed up, a little bit physically messed up, and then with all that I got lazy and got fat, and she stayed with me getting fat. I used to be pretty sexy. I know it's hard to believe now, but
I've seen pictures. You're a good looking guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen the pictures, right? But yeah, having that support group, and I know not everybody has that support group. So that's another reason why this group is important, to have somebody there to be a support, because it doesn't have to be a spouse. And maybe you've gone 20 years without the support, and now you can have the support, and it makes a difference no matter when you start. You just got to start sometime before it's too late, right? So there's a stigma still, because there's a lot of the guys out there, and it's usually people that didn't even serve in combat, or maybe they went to Kuwait, you know, and I'm a disgruntled veteran and I've got PTSD. Don't say that. That's going to make me mad. I'm going to flip off. And like, they're just stupid for no reason. They want the attention, right? So they give the people that really have PTSD a bad stigma, because I don't see it so much as a bad thing now. I see it as we survived something that we went through that was traumatic, right? We did, right? That's why we're still here, and it's post-traumatic stress, right? But there's been a lot of people do find relief by smoking weed or eating gummies, and that's become more acceptable. Mama Lutz, Janine Lutz, who started this, she was big into helping push to legalize it for treatments. I've tried it. I don't like it. I don't like the high feeling. I don't like feeling sick. I've tried it for pain and for PTSD, and I didn't like it. But I know people that have done well on it. I know people that get their card just to get high, and it's like, all right, whatever. But I've seen more success in the camaraderie groups and getting people involved, going out fishing, going out shooting, you know, going out on hunting trips. Florida has Operation Outdoor Freedom, and it was started by I forgot his name. Redhead guy that was running for governor, but didn't get it. Adam Putnam.
Okay.
When he was commissioner of agriculture, awesome guy, and he started Operation Outdoor Freedom, and it's just getting veterans together and going hunting. And that I've done that's where I got my alligators that I got, and I tried to get used to eat some alligator meat, and you're like, no,
Are you sure?
I think so. I was like, hey, I got some for you. I don't wanna eat that.
No. I would have eaten alligator.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was the quail or something that I brought you. But I've gone on turkey hunts and deer hunts, hog hunts. I went duck hunting down in the Everglades where the rich people pay buku bucks to go hunting. But I've been able to go for free with Operation Outdoor Freedom, and it's for disabled veterans that are Florida residents. And
Interesting. So you've seen more success with just the camaraderie of the organizations that you've been involved with over the years.
Yeah.
That is the fellowship, if you will.
Fellowship, yep, brotherhood,
fellowship and brotherhood.
Somebody be there for you, right? Somebody that understands you, that's been through the same similar stuff that you've been through, that maybe you can share, like, hey, you know, I was dealing with that same thing, and this is what I did. Or maybe it's somebody struggling with getting their VA claim done, and they're like, hey, if you go and you just got to word it this way, because I had to do that, and then I was able to get it, because the VA is very governmental about everything. It has to be, you might say it instead of was, and they'll deny it, you know. And
Fucking A, really?
Yeah.
What's the present state of the VA? Is it still a pain in the ass?
Yeah, it depends. So I've had a lot of really good treatment from the VA. I've got a really good doctor right now. I've had some okay doctors, but you got to be your best advocate, just like in the civilian world, right? Like, I don't like this doctor, I want a different one. The psychiatrist that I initially went to when my wife was like, you have PTSD, you have to get help. And I finally was like, okay. And I went to the VA and I talked to this guy, but I didn't talk to him first. I talked to somebody else, and they diagnosed me with PTSD and told me I needed to do this. And they're like, okay, now this is going to be your permanent psychiatrist. You got to go talk to him. And I go in there, and he's talking to me, and he's like, you know, I don't think you have PTSD. I was in the Coast Guard, and I have PTSD. And I was just like, fucking kill this dude. Like, and he kept talking about stuff, and he just kept insulting me. And I stood up, and like I grabbed his desk and just saw like pure terror on his face. And I was like, oh crap. And I sat back down, right? So I was like, I didn't want to get locked up. Which I'm glad I did sit down, because later on I heard that he's infamous for trying to push buttons and get people locked up. And so that's what was going on. He was trying to push my buttons, right? So there are people like that in the VA, and he's a complete douchebag, and he shouldn't be there. Last I heard, he's still there. And anytime I hear somebody saying they have problems with their psychiatrist, it's always, I'm like, is it this doctor? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah. So unfortunately, there's people like that there, but there's other amazing doctors, amazing veterans that work there, a staff that really want to help. So it just kind of depends. If you don't like somebody like that, I was like, hey, I'm not going to see this guy at all, right? So I don't have to see him anymore. I tried going a few times. I played like the little kid card too. I take my wife in there with me, and because she's my registered caregiver, and so I'd sit there and I'd look at the wall, and she would talk to him, and if he wanted to talk to me, he had to tell her first, and then I would talk to her. I would not talk to him. I was like, no, because I don't want to get in trouble, because I'm going to say the wrong thing to this guy. But it's unfortunate that people like that are allowed to work there. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, I wanted to bring up, this is not anything veteran related, but for the other guys, like, what do you guys think about Sig Sauer right now? I just got off the phone with them today, and so I brought it up, and I was like,
do you still have the recording of when I won that spear? And
yeah.
Like, do you look big? And I was like, no, I hate those guys. You're like, I have you on live right now.
No. Like, what do you think, Omar? Like,
so what I think.
So, all right, then here we'll go to Luke. Like, I asked them today. I said, "Do you guys what are you guys doing to help the damage that's been done to your brand?" And they were like, "Nothing."
I think they don't care. I think they have such a big name, and most people that buy guns don't know anything about the 320, and it doesn't really affect them.
Do you think really most people who buy guns don't have any idea about 320?
Yes, I think only people that are in our like bubble of like super into guns, like look at guns on social media, really know about it. But I would say 90% of people have no idea.
Then why aren't people coming in and buying the 320?
People didn't buy the 320 before. I really just don't think.
But did people not buy the 320 before because none of us really
Well, maybe.
Mocked it, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just feel like they probably did a little analysis with their corporate, people and said, it really doesn't matter. So it's just these fringe people who are really into it saying something.
Just Reddit.
Yeah. Like,
So
let's
is that
not.
never a big seller for them, the 320?
I mean,
For them.
What's that?
It's a huge seller for them. I mean,
I thought before the 365, I thought it was like their pistol.
I mean, it's the military pistol. In the same way that
Right.
the Beretta M9 got so popular, it's mainly because, if you're not a gun person and you don't want to go on the internet and start looking at, autistic people talk about guns, which I love to do. But yeah, if you're not like that, you think, okay, I need a gun that works. What does the military use? They use a Beretta M9. Here it is in the shop for $600. That's the one I'm buying. And the people will still be doing that for the 320. I definitely get what Luke's saying, where it's like, if you're not a big firearms community, even though I hate, for lack of a better term, the community guy, you're going to probably get what the military uses and think that's good enough for you. So the 320, as soon as they secured that contract, that was going to be something that sells for them for the rest of the time until it gets unadopted and replaced with a Glock.
It's probably kind of like when everybody was boycotting Nike. Like, I like Nike. They're comfortable. I know they fit my feet.
they're not comfortable at all. They fucking hurt your feet.
They feel good on my feet.
I can't wear Nikes ever.
There's only certain ones I can wear.
My wife used to buy me Jordans every year for Christmas,
Yeah,
and then my feet just they gave out. Like, they don't. I've got old person feet.
I can't do Jordans. I wear Born Primitive now. I got these special D-Day ones. They're awesome.
Do they help? Do they feel good?
They do. They're comfortable.
I've got to buy special old person shoes on Amazon, and then I've got to buy special inserts, or I can't fucking walk. My feet are that fucked up from years of walking around. I'm not sure how it happened. Skateboarding, being a waiter, just my feet are all just fucking fucked. What do you what do you think? Do you think anything long term is going to happen with SIG, or do you think that they're going to release their new line in? I guess it's in 2 months. They're going to have SIG next, and they're going to come out with the whole line for 2026, and everything will be forgotten. What do you think, Omar? You can say whatever you want. It's our podcast, but just try to.
We have a business relationship with them. I don't want to speak my mind too clearly here. I don't want to jeopardize
Be
that.
diplomatic.
Diplomatically speaking, regardless of what.
Do you think there's been damage to the brand So my big thing is do you think there has been a damage to the brand by the problems with the 320 through social media, like Reddit, the sites, that's I think that people are not just a couple months ago, people are buying macros a lot more than they were right now. And then do you think it's a result of the economy fucking tanking more, or do you think it's the result of the bad press that SIG is getting?
No, I think definitely the bad press has an impact on their sales. I'm sure they know about it, but like Luke said, I don't think it's ever going to drive them to becoming irrelevant. They're always going to have customers. They're always going to have people that go to them. I personally think we haven't seen the worst of it yet. I think when that thing crashes and burns, that's going to be real fun.
You think the 6.8 is going to crash and burn?
Not the 6.8, the Spear. I think the Spear is going to be a colossal failure.
Why is that?
The concept, to begin with, the concept is, please correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm just a dude on the internet. But we learned a lesson throughout the last 20 years of modern gunfighting, where it's usually the more ammo you got, the more likely you are to win. It really doesn't matter if most engagements are within 300 meters. The whole outranging the enemy and having a more powerful round is cool and all, but in the most situations you're going to get into, you want more ammo, you want less weight on you, you want more rounds downrange. It doesn't really matter if it's 6.8 or 5.56. And if you have problems with 5.56, that can be fixed with different ammo of 5.56, M995s, M855, A1s, etc. We tried a big, heavy DMR type weapon that holds 20 round magazines as a standard combat rifle before. That was the M14, and it's the shortest served, actual used rifle in the U.S. military's history. The M14 is now purely ceremonial. There's a couple cases, but it was the standard infantry rifle, and then it was very quickly no longer the standard infantry rifle. And if we're seeing anything with Ukraine, that really hasn't changed in modern combat. You want more ammo and a lighter gun that's more controllable and easier to shoot. I think the gun like
the Stoner rifle was 308 first too, right?
the AR-10 was, yeah.
No, it wasn't like didn't they do it in 308 first?
Yeah. The first AR was
the first AR was through, and then they realized like it's too heavy and they stopped.
They switched to an intermediate cartridge, but they're going back to a heavy gun with a 20 round magazine. You can, your reserve ammo is less, your ammo in your magazine is less, the gun's heavier, it's more difficult to lug around, all that stuff. So the concept of the gun is one reason why I don't think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be reserved as a role weapon, not a general infantry weapon. It'll be what the designated marksman uses probably, but not everybody's going to have it. I don't think that's going to work out. Then there's the whole thing with the spear. And again, for vested interest with 6 hour purposes, I just don't think it's a very... The one thing I saw that people talk about a lot is they've given the spear to a bunch of units to have them kind of test it out and give their opinions on. And then they release their statements, and there's videos of soldiers who used it who are talking about, oh yeah, the pros are, it's, this is great, yada, yada. And then those same soldiers in the videos come out and they're like, yeah, we then went on to a very long list of cons, and they just happened to cut that part of the video out. They just showed us talking about the pros. And from the people who aren't, going, their statements aren't being issued by the media, but they're going out and saying it themselves. The guys who've used it, they're like, this is not a combat-ready firearm. Whether or not you choose to believe that, absolutely up to you. These are all just claims and all that. I just don't think the concept of a more battle rifle type weapon as a standard infantry rifle, I don't think that's a good idea. And I don't think an MCX spear is a good idea.
You don't think the engagements will get less with the advent of drones?
It's good point. I mean,
like maybe that's the idea. Like drones are going to take over so much more of it'll be less firefights, more drone fighting.
Yeah, but then why are you having your guys lug around heavier guns with heavier ammo? Less ammo.
Do you think there's any maybe classified body armor that's out there that people don't know about, that they may know about, that there's body armor that pretty much can stop any 5.56? And
yeah, wasn't that the point of the 6.8? Was the big selling point for SIG was like everybody has body armor now.
Yeah, it'll go
like if we get into a ground war with Russia, like they will have body armor. The Chinese will have body armor. Mm-hmm. This will go through the body armor at a good distance.
Allegedly, that's not doing too hot either. But again, that's all people just talk.
We could test it.
We could test it. Well, we can't get the 6.8 rounds. We can only get 277.
No, we didn't. We got the high pressure rounds before.
Yeah, we had a case.
Yeah, we had a couple cases of them. Stuff? Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I saw is that the bimetallic casings kind of exploding. That apparently happens sometimes.
Yeah. My thing is you can't fucking believe anybody on the internet when 100%. when they're talking bad about SIG. Like when you have the whole fucking world talking bad about something, most of the people are full of shit. In my nobody is talking with I'm trying to be careful not to say too many nice things about SIG, because the last time we did, fucking oh my god, the internet erupted. We've never got when we talked well about SIG last time, we've never gotten so much hate. So I don't want to say too many nice things about it.
I haven't heard about it until today, and I follow a bunch of gun pages, so I don't know if my algorithm is making me not hear it, but Omar and I were talking. That was the first I heard about it. But, I knew about the drop safety thing.
Oh, that's why Omar was asking about your spear that you won that one time.
Yeah.
He's like, how's it going?
I like the spear. I mean, I wouldn't want to carry it. It's heavy. I carried the M16A2 back in 2004, in Iraq, and it wasn't the lightest gun, but I felt like this. I like shooting it. I love it for the backyard and for going to the range and stuff. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to hump it over an M4.
Now, your point is the spears are heavier. You're right, Omar. The spears are heavier, and you don't want to hump a heavier gun. And you're right that it doesn't make much sense. You want more ammo, more mags, so you can fight longer.
Yeah, and the all alleged, the rifles don't last as long because of how high the pressures are inside the chamber. The barrels don't last as long. Again, there's issues with the bimetallic casing separating, catastrophic malfunctions that cannot be repaired on the field. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and it just brings me back to the whole thing of I personally think the fact that Sig Sauer won the pistol contract and the rifle contract and the machine gun contract kind of leads me to believe that it's more of a we gave this general a really high-paying job once he retires, and less of a we tested every gun available to us and gave the contract to the best. The machine gun's stick, though. The machine gun's really nice.
Yeah.
The machine gun's going to stick around for a very long time. The 6.8 belt fed, that thing's fucking cool.
Well, all right. So let me rephrase this. So when we went to SHOT Show, I think 3 years ago, SIG had a big shindig out there. They didn't have a booth, but they had like this huge demo, if you will. And the feeling that I got when I left was that SIG was going to be the premier brand for the immediate future and forever. Like they were just like they had everything on fucking lockdown. 365, 320s, the new machine guns coming out, the spears, the blackout, the different the spear and blackout, the different lengths and shit. And they just fucking launched, and you were like, dude, they're going to be a powerhouse. And then in the last 12 months, you've had just so much fucking hate on the internet when it comes to SIG that like, and then the less and less people buying their product, and you're like, fuck, man, like what's going to happen? And then I'm just thinking, what are you guys doing to, help your brand? And they're like, nothing.
Do you think they're spread too thin? I know they're a huge, probably the biggest company, but I mean, they're the only company I can think of that pretty much does everything but shotguns. I mean, I don't think of any other company that does.
Guarantee you they release an anti-drone shotgun in the next 2 years.
Anything like that.
I would like that.
That would be cool.
Anti-drone shotgun. I would like that.
Yeah, from what I've heard from a couple people that worked there is that like a lot of the time the guys who work on this thing haven't even met the guys that worked on the other thing. So the spread too thin thing definitely could be the case. I don't know, man. There's so many inexcusable things that I just...
There's a big rumor they're coming out with a 2011.
I'm sure they are. They want everything. They want the whole market and more. It's just the most corporate corporation to ever exist. Like that's what SIG is. You can call most manufacturers of most guns on this wall here and ask them a question and get an answer. SIG, you ask them a question. Oh, we got to take that up with the board before we can answer it. It's got to go up to the board. It's like, I hate that.
Is Hunter on the board?
I bet. I bet. So so they do SIG Chalk every year, Omar, and that's when they take people from their top stores and they take like members of it and they wine and dine you for 3 days. So you're saying you wouldn't go?
Probably not.
Really?
They tried to get Nate to go 3 times and he just adamantly said no.
I think this I can get away with saying. I don't like that they use their customers for R&D. I don't like that they release something and then pull it from the market a year later because it had issues. Like, you're one of the biggest gun companies on the planet. You should have figured that out. There shouldn't be any excuses. And then it's like, especially when they sacrifice something and boast about it, like the 320, how your firing pin is under tension. And then they're like, our trigger is so much better than a Glock's. The one that doesn't keep your firing pin under tension. So it's, safe. Yeah, we got rid of that. So it's so much of a better trigger. Don't you guys love better triggers? Like, yeah, cool, man. How's that going?
The crazy thing about SIG too is like, I feel like I know a lot of handguns. The amount of crazy, weird used SIGs that came out like in the early 2000s and 2010s is crazy. Like, if you really look how many different discontinued ones there are so many.
Like what?
Like the P2, like the one Chris bought. We just bought another one.
The P250?
P250. There's a lot of them. Like the P2340. I don't even know.
Did you just make that up?
No, look it up.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, I don't believe you. But
there's just a lot of weird ones, and it's like, I think that is to Omar's point that they come out with stuff and then they're like, this isn't very good, so we'll just move on.
So that's what I thought was going to happen with the 320. I thought it was going to go away.
Yeah, but it got the military contract, so it can't go away. If they wanted to go away, they would have to admit that there's a fault with the gun that we're entrusting our service members.
Or just replace it with a different gun with a different name.
Yeah, but why would anybody do that? Like, if you just spent...
Humans forget.
Well, if you just spent billions of dollars on outfitting most of your guys with one thing and then They're like, yeah, actually, that thing fucking goes off. So what if we just give you this other thing? This one doesn't. We promise. We tested it, and it doesn't go off anymore. It's like, yeah, you tested it. That's kind of another problem, is that you do a lot of self-testing. And the Romeo Zero is the main thing I was mentioning. They released that plastic red dot, which when it came out, I was like, hey, man, you notice that your red dot is plastic? And they're like, oh, we did so much internal testing. It's got no issues. And then it comes out and nothing but issues. And then they're like, there are no issues with it. And then the issues keep piling up. There are no issues with it. If you say there are issues, you're anti-gun. And then a year later, we're no longer going to be making the Romeo Zero.
I think, doesn't Holosun make their other one? Holosun makes something for them right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Probably. They a lot of their cheaper civilian stuff is just outsourced from China. Like all the cheap LPVOs are all just Chinese.
My only really gripe with it is just like I'm all about, like, if you do something wrong, admit it, fix it, move on. Like I'm a big like fall on your sword thing. Like if I fuck up, except like when my wife asks, "Did you eat the child's food?" I'll generally lie about that. Like last night I fucking ate my kid's pasta. I couldn't help myself. I just ate it. And I tried to like hide it. Like I kind of like scooped it around, and because I only ate half of it. And my wife came home and she's like, "Did you eat the pasta? Did you eat Ava's dinner?" No, it wasn't me. I'm sorry, Lori.
Oh no.
but generally, if I make a mistake about something, I want to admit it and then fix it and move on. And when you see somebody who doesn't admit anything, then it's avarice, it's hubris.
How many years has this been going on since they released it, right? I remember them saying, well, it has to drop like on this specific little angle on this one area.
They fixed that.
They fixed that?
They fixed that.
Okay.
This is a different issue now.
It's a different issue now.
Okay.
If it was dropped at a 22-degree angle, the very first ones right on the rear sight, it would go off. They denied that at first as well. Then finally, it was replicated and shown to always happen. So they fixed that. New 320s came out. And then little by little, police body cam footage here, camera from the sheriff's office sees this guy's gun going off in the holster without him touching it. This trainer over here during a course has his gun go off in the holster. Just little by little things come out.
But some of those videos were zoomed in. And this would kind of be in Sig's defense, but the guy's finger went into the trigger when he was putting it on, and boom, and shot it. And these are some of the videos they were really pushing to show that Sig was shit. And it wasn't their trigger just going off.
A lot of
them human.
Yeah, a lot of them are. That's something we touched on the last time we talked about it, is like most of the lawsuits and stuff are probably just people who got an ND and want to get money. Mm-hmm. But there are also ones that you just can't explain.
And then Sig did say they couldn't replicate this error whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't want to admit to it, because they cannot make it happen.
I think it's a quality control and parts issue, personally. I think the design is flawed. They cut around a lot of corners to make it the perfect gun. Like the thing of like, oh, the trigger's so great. It's because the firing pin is under tension. That's enough tension to set the round off if the other safety mechanisms were to fail. So there are safety mechanisms in place. And the perfect 320, I can guarantee you, does not go off by itself. But the problem is, if small parts that might be made in certain countries might not get the same quality control treatment, and one safety feature fails, your firing pin's under tension. That's kind of what it all comes down to for me. If something happens to slip, again, it's not a common thing. It's not like if you buy a 320 and you carry it every day, 99.9999, whatever, nothing bad is going to happen. But that minuscule chance of it happening throws people off, especially people who are super into it.
Which is why you buy a Glock.
Which is why you buy a Glock, because there is that chance.
Should Sig just make a Glock Gen 3 clone?
That would be
no. They should.
That would be insane.
What if they change their fire control unit?
They wouldn't.
No. Yeah. Maybe. Like, what if they came out with a brand new fire control unit, and they're like, all 320s are going to come out with the fucking new fire control unit, and then if you want to change yours out, send us your gun.
That's a good idea.
It would be great, but they would never do it, because again, it would be admitting mistakes, and they're too corporate to ever admit a mistake that they're
That's
forced to
that's the
admit.
thing. Corporate people, some corporate companies admit their mistakes.
Not this one.
Like that's the thing I think in the corporate world is like you fucking like if you fucking make a mistake, you own it. You own it, you move on.
Yeah, like Colt just recalled a bunch of their rifles, and they're rifles that they don't make anymore. So you have to send it back, and then they'll send you like a python or something. They're like, we're not gonna fix it or anything. You don't get it back.
Omar, do you want to tell the folks at home about the MPX having problems at the night match?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this one is not a dig on Sig, I promise, even though it was really funny. We had 3 PCC people at the night match go back to back, and all 3 of them were using MPXs.
Yeah.
The first guy goes, hits his first 2 targets, goes to the third target, click. Tap, rack, click. Tap, rack, click. Takes mag out, clears it, new mag in, chamber, click. Tap, rack, click. And he just goes, all right, I'm calling it. Puts the rifle up, finishes the stage. And I jokingly go, is that a SIG? And everybody's like, ha, funny, all that. Next guy goes, different MPX. Same thing happens. He also gets a click that he can't clear, and he can't finish the course.
What do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't think it was a gun thing. Probably ammo related. I don't know. I haven't really heard.
Do you think it might have been loading at night and how it's a little difficult to see?
Maybe. Well, I'm not going to claim to have an inkling of an idea of what happened there, but it was just really funny.
But it did happen.
It was really funny, and then I laughed at it, and then the third guy comes along with the third MPX and gets a squib. And I'm just like, you cannot write this.
Yeah, but
Consecutive shooters.
But the squib has nothing to. The squib had nothing to do.
No, absolutely not. Again,
squib wrong.
This likely none of these had anything to do with the MPX platform or Sig Sauer. The squib 100% had nothing to do with that. That was definitely just whatever it was. But it was just witnessing it in real time, watching it happen as I'm shit talking Sig. It was so funny. And again, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying, oh yeah, you should never buy an MPX because Sig Sauer, they always jam and they always get squibs. No, it was just all the planets lined up for me. And I just watched and I was able to shit talk to my heart's content. And it was hilarious and it was great.
Did you shit talk to the people who own the MPXs?
I just was like, 6 hour when it counts.
Oh no.
It's probably SIG ammo too.
Nah.
No, I know.
It was pretty funny though, because like what would be the perfect rifle to have, you know, and some of the people use it was PCC and it was white light. So you have some guys like trying to compete like in nods, and then you have other guys who are kind of cheating with the fucking PCC and white light, you know, and so you had one guy and then they all failed, which was making it, because like what would be the perfect rifle to use? SIG full size MPX. That's allegedly like the best PCC on the market, you know, like
JP.
Huh?
JP.
What, JP? What?
JP makes the best PCC on the market.
Right, but Omar, remember, you do think the best optic on the market is the Trigicon ACOG.
That fight me. Yeah. 100%. ACOG is when we peaked.
I think I might win if we fought.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The ACOG is perfection. You can't change my mind. I'll take an ACOG over an LPVO any day.
For now.
For now.
For now.
Love the ACOG.
So Todd, if people want to like contact you and they're veterans and they want to get help, how do they do that?
You can email me at todd.hughes, todd.hughes at livetotell.org.
Okay, and that might be a little hard to find. Like, you're Todd. Are you accessible on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on social media.
So if I type in Todd Hughes on Facebook?
Yeah, you'll see the big ugly picture of me, and then my wife is usually on there too.
But what I think is really cool about Todd, like over the years, so we tend to employ a good amount of veterans here at Shark Coast, and I don't know why. Like maybe the veterans get out and they need a place to go, so they come here and they work for a couple of years, or they stay here and then they go to school or do something else, or they get mad at me and they quit. But over the years, I've had veterans who are going through this or that, and I call Todd, and Todd comes and helps and does whatever he can. He's helped with housing. Like we had one veteran who fucking was homeless. You had two who were homeless, two who were living out of their cars, and you instructed them on how to where to go and get housing and how to get funded. And we've had people with mental health issues, or who are going through fucking shit, and you've reached out and help. So how can people just fucking find you and you help them?
Yeah, find me or easier email. I'm also with SRQ Vets, so Todd at srqvets.org. But I'll help. If you can find me and recognize my face on Facebook, I'll find the Lutz Buddy Up page. There's several Lutz Buddy Up pages because we have several chapters. Message any of them. I'm an admin on all of them. So
On Facebook.
And we're starting to work on some other platforms to get the stuff out there. But I don't know. I could even give you my info if you want to throw it up on the screen. I'm sure you're good at doing all that guru stuff, right? And you don't have to be here in the local area. I can help veterans all over the country. Let's Live to Tell is a national program. So if I don't know somebody, I know somebody that knows somebody. So
Well, we really appreciate you coming on and giving us this unique perspective. And I want to thank you for your service and welcome you home.
thank you, brother.
All right, man. All right, we're going to call it. Thanks for watching. Remember, we are kind of sponsored by the energy drinks. Omar says no. They just give us 4 cases for free a week, and that doesn't count as sponsorship. But
It's not.
it's not.
Does not.
You guys are drinking it this late. Does it keep you up all night?
No.
I'll find out. I'm going to go home and play Skyrim.
Exactly.
Good man. Give me a bump for that.
We'll see you again.
Peace.